It's your time to renew, rebuild, and restore with Rebirth Podcast. Let's go!
It's what you've been waiting for. The Rebirth with your hosts, Shea and Eli Isabel.
Welcome to the Rebirth. I'm your host, Shea Marriott.
And I am your boy Eli Isabel, a.k.a. The South Got Something to Say. Happy Monday, Shay.
Happy Monday, E. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Rebirth family? Philly Jams 95.3. How y'all doing out there? What's up, Shay?
Listen, man, I'm ready for some warm weather. I'm tired of this cold weather. That's where I'm at, okay?
It's just a little ways in, Shay.
Yeah,
You know, it's
I
only been winter for like a month.
I'm ready to go be back in my oasis.
The she shed.
The she said.
What-
the
what's-
she. I done said it wrong. The she shed.
The she
That's what you
shed.
call it. That's not what I call it. But it's all good. Welcome back to the Rebirth. I hope you guys had a good weekend. We have an
Yes.
exciting show for you tonight. So listen, make sure if you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe now. Hit that subscribe button. No matter what platform you are listening to us on, make sure you are following us because the Rebirth is going to be on fire
Yes.
in 2024.
We are coming. Get ready,
Yes,
y'all.
it is-
Hang in there, buckle up, and go for this ride with us.
Exactly.
Yes.
And as last week, we talked about renewing, restoring, and rebuilding.
That's right.
And we're still going to be talking about that all through the year. So listen, tune in. Make sure you share the link. Make sure you tell your auntie, you tell somebody, tell your church friend, tell your coworker about the Rebirth. Okay.
Tell your pastor.
Yes, right. That's
He
right.
ain't doing that on Monday nights. Monday Night Football is over.
So, E,
Yes.
I'm so excited to hear what the South got to say.
Man, listen, y'all. Listen, every week we are coming. You know I got something for you every week. Tonight, on this episode, tonight's episode of The South Got Something to Say, I wanted to take a minute to touch on this world we're living in. Are we, for men and women and relationships, are we valuing, for men, are we valuing the physical, the looks, the body over the character of a woman? For the ladies, are we valuing what a man can give us financially, monetarily, over the character of a man? Is this where we at in 2024? Now, let's be clear. I don't think there's ever been a time where men didn't objectify women and women didn't see men for, because women are, correct me if I'm wrong, if there are women in the room, but women are, I think, are raised to intentionally to be wives, to be parents, to be mothers, and to find someone who can take care of them. So in the midst of that, you're looking at a man's earning potential or what he is currently earning. So that has always been a priority between men and women. But are we overdoing it now? Are we looking at a man and can he provide us trips to Dubai? Can he provide me with the Range Rover? Are we valuing those things over who he is as a man? You think about all these men. You take allegedly Sean Combs. If the things that he's been accused of over these years are true, women have valued what he can do for them and the position he can put them in over the character of who he is.
Absolutely.
If these things are true, there's no way he's been able to fool this many people for this many years. The industry, for people like us, outsiders, we don't know that these things are happening. But for people in the industry, that's a small community.
Yeah.
They all know how everybody gets down. So are we valuing what someone can do for us, women, over the character of that man? Fellas, are we looking at a woman's butt, how pretty they are, their breast size? Are we valuing those things over their ability to be a great mother, over their ability to be a great helpmate, a great earner in her own right? So in 2024, let's get back to focusing on the character of the people that we want to align ourselves with,
Right.
instead of what they can do for us. Because if the character is there, then what they can do for you will automatically happen because they're good people. They want to take care of you and they want to see that they want to make sure that you're fine. So character and substance over the BS. All 2024. And that's all the South got to say.
Listen at you. You better preach, friend. But I think to answer that question, yes. Yep. For sure.
We see it every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
We see it every day.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily think it's our generation. I think it's the younger generation that you see it more in, because unfortunately, these young ladies, they are looking for the bag.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the bag, then they don't have time for you.
And it's crazy because it's such a common thing in the music. It's in the video. These messages are being pushed toward our children.
Yeah.
So young men know that they have to get the bag to have a certain type of woman physically, the look, the exotics.
Yeah.
And so they will, in turn, put their lives and their freedom on the line to have these things.
Yeah.
So it's really a double-edged sword, and I hate that we are at this point, but here we are. So if we value substance and character over the BS, then you'll be fine in the long run, always.
Yeah. That's good, friend. And it actually moves us right into tonight's topic. Tonight's topic is you can't want what you're not openly prepared for. Now, can the church say amen?
Amen. Wow.
Listen, y'all need to get some notes together, okay? You cannot want what you're not prepared for. Period.
Agree. I don't think God works that way. You can want it. No, let's take that back. You can want it.
If you're not prepared for it, it's just going to walk right past you.
It will. You won't even recognize it.
You won't even recognize it.
Yeah.
You won't even recognize it. So I would like to break that down a little bit further into subtitles. Relate what that looks like in a relationship. What does that look like in a job or entrepreneurship?
Right.
Sidebar. What that even look like health-wise?
Absolutely.
What's the sidebar?
I think this corduroy shirt is the hottest shirt I've ever worn in my life. Just want to put it out there. I feel a little trickle in my armpit all of a sudden.
Oh, Lord.
I know you wear clothes in the winter, but
right.
Jeez, Louise. All right, go ahead.
It's all good.
I just felt it. I think I'm menopausing over here.
Menopause. Hey, I heard that's a real thing, though. Okay. So when we look at the relationship perspective, right, and we apply that, we cannot want what we're not openly prepared for. I think about the list that a lot of our ladies have. The list, the old
infamous
good list, right? So we have all these things on our list. A lot of the things that are on the list are very superficial, right? Basically what you just said, in your segment. But we're not prepared for the things that we say that we want. I want a good man. I want a man that's loving, that has integrity, that is consistent, and that is loyal, right? And we say we want these things, but we're not prepared for it. So that man can walk past you, and because he is not dressed in a suit, or have a certain watch on, or drive a certain car, what you said you wanted just literally walked right past you. But then you have the nerve to say there are no good black men out here. Take that in.
Yes.
Take that in. Now I'm giving it to you from a woman's perspective. What is the man perspective?
Well, let me give you this little nugget that a friend of mine, we were having a conversation recently, and he said to me, we were talking about he was talking about the dating scene and this and that, and he said to me, he says a lot of women he knows, he says women, everybody wants the king, right? And he says some women would rather share the king and get in line and be able to take a trip once a year. Like he buy you a bag here and there, but you there whenever he needs you, as opposed to having the loyal and single court jester. He says what they don't understand is the court jester is a part of the king's court too. He's just as and he's single, and he would treat you better than the king. You don't have to share him. So people would rather share the king than to have the court jester all to themselves.
Yeah, isn't that something?
That's crazy.
That is.
Yeah. So back to your original question. Oh, well,
you forgot what the question was?
Yeah, because I got into the king and the court jester.
It's that corduroy shirt you got on.
I feel a trickle.
I was saying from a man's perspective, when we're talking about relationships, I gave you my perspective when it comes down to women saying they want this particular man.
So I think that here's where women, I've said this before, here's where I think women get this whole thing part twisted. You can want all of those things right there, but guess what? If that guy meets all of those qualifications, that means he's a phenomenal man. And there is a line of women that want him. So you, like to what you said, Shea, you have to be somewhat on that level because the competition is fierce for this dude. So what are you bringing to the table other than vagina? There are other things you're going to have to bring to the table to get that phenomenal man. The line is long for him. Successful, handsome, good job, benefits, all his teeth. All of it, that's important. All of the things that women value. Y'all look at a man mouth, you know, let's keep it funky. So there's a long line of women that in line for that dude. So you have to, again, you cannot show up with what the little bit that you bring to the table and want this. And I'm gonna use this phrase, but I hate I'm gonna have to use it, but I'm gonna use it. You cannot show up in line and with your qualifications and want that high value man. You can, but that competition is fierce. You're probably not gonna get him. And if you do get a chance to get a piece of him, you're gonna share him.
So, from a man's perspective, do you feel do men want a certain type of woman, but they're not prepared for it? And what would that look like? Oh,
yes. So I think if you are a BS dude, you say you want this successful woman. Men want successful women. We don't always want to have to bring a woman up. Just like women don't always want to have to bring a man up. But men are more likely to do it than women per se. A successful man will take a woman who is, in a certain place in her life and elevate her. Successful women, rich women don't meet bum dudes and bring them up. That's just not how it works out. We don't have that luxury. However, men do want successful women. And if you are in a certain place in your life, you want a woman that can match your fly if you're not an insecure man. If you're a man with insecurities, if you're a man who a mid-level job, career, you probably don't want a woman who is high-level career, 6 figures, 6.5, 150K a year, and you make 50. You probably don't want her. You might, in your mind, it looks good. She's fine. She has all of these things going on. But once you get into a situation with her, you can't handle her. You're not ready for her.
Right.
Because she has leveled up. And you're still trying to figure it out. I often say people date outside their league all the time. I think it's easier for women to do it. It's hard for a man to date outside. It happens. Kevin Federline, Britney Spears. You can go on and on. The list, Janet Jackson, and the list of men she's dated. No one's been on her level.
I can't believe you still remember Kevin Federline's name.
I don't know why they came to my mind.
Yeah, that was really surprising. Wow.
But that was a good example of who she is and who she was or is still and who he is and was. Like, most men aren't ready for that because it challenges their ego. And that's a hard, once that thing is bruised, oftentimes we're a hot mess. And it's hard for us to recover from that. So we say we want things just like women, but once we get them, we're like, oh shit, this is different. This woman don't need me, and there's really nothing I can do for her but be her companion. And if you're not a good communicator, and if you don't know how to be a good partner, then there's nothing else you can bring to the table because she has everything else.
And I think that's important I think that's important because so in that type of situation, I think it's important that a woman, from what you just gave, a woman understands what is it that she would need in that relationship. If I know that financially I really don't need you, I can provide for myself. If I know that I can purchase and do things for myself, I can take myself on trips, and there's nothing financially you are able to do for me that I can't do for myself, right? If that's the mindset that I'm running with, then what are the things that you can do for me that will be just as good, that will be supportive, that would mean a lot for me, right? So if the woman is the go-getter, right, then it's important that she understands where her man can help.
Right. What his strengths are.
And what his strengths are. And if that balances with her, right? Because again, women are in positions there. We are in a lot of high positions. We are making a lot of money.
Right.
We are going to college more than men are and getting several degrees, right? So the chances that we're going to find a guy that is matching us
Right.
in all of those areas are very slim. But it doesn't mean that the man that is making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 under you is not a good man.
Right.
It doesn't mean that. You need to figure out or find out how that man can show up in your life. How can that man be the yin to your yang? You know, be the yang to your yang.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? So what's important? What is it that you need to see in that person? Right? So for me, it's important that, because I work so much. I work hard. I go hard. So it's important that someone is there to be able to nurture me and support me and remind me, hey, you got to take care of yourself first. You know, all of those things, right? It's important that that man has to be very secure within himself. You know? So this is a thing here.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think a woman can do all of those things and down to the point where tell a man what she needs from him, right? But it's not the woman's issue. This is a male issue. This is a man issue, and some men who find their value, their self-value, in their ability to take care of a woman, financially, monetarily, they can't see beyond that. Some men, because if you don't need me financially, then I don't need to be here. And there's so many other great things that you can bring to that relationship. But especially you get older men, they can't see beyond. The average man today cannot be a Stedman Graham. No one could be with Oprah Winfrey or a billionaire woman. And Stedman's accomplished in his own right. Author,
Yeah, he is.
Educator, public, very, very accomplished in his own life. But Stedman's accomplishments besides Oprah looks like mine and a newborn baby.
Right.
You haven't done anything. So it takes a very secure man. And so I don't know what, it's probably not what Oprah did or said. It's Stedman being confident in who he is. And the average man that is not needed in a way where he has to be dependent on monetarily, sometimes they lose their self-worth in that. That mean their self-worth is built around that. So that's hard for a man.
Yeah, for sure. I think we have to get out of, and this goes both ways. I think we really have to get out of saying we don't need a man, or we don't need a woman.
Men don't really say that.
I know. I had to make it even. I just had to make it even.
Dudes don't be saying that. I'm a strong, independent man. I don't need no woman. And you never heard no man say that.
Right. I think we have to get out of saying that because ideally we are supposed to be with someone. We thrive when we are with the right person, right? But at the same time, if you're constantly speaking, I don't need a man, and at the same time you're saying, Lord, where's my Boaz? Then it's like, come on. You got listen how you talking to yourself.
Yeah.
You speak, you manifest what you speak. So if you're saying I don't need, then guess what? he's not going to walk in the future because you're already speaking that over yourself, right? So preparing yourself for what it is that you want. If you want a relationship, whether it's a man or woman, okay? If you want a relationship, then stop hanging on to exes that don't mean no good to you and taking their phone calls because you want to be entertained.
Right.
You're not preparing a space for that man to walk in your life. You're not preparing that space for that woman to walk in your life.
Right.
Right? I heard someone say, I always hear someone say something, right? And I always forget who it is that said it. But I heard someone say years ago, if you want to be married, then start walking as a wife or a husband now. Don't wait until you get married to now learn how to become a husband and wife. Start carrying yourself as that. Now, if that is something that you want, you got to prepare for that.
Yeah. Oh, man, somebody should have told me that. I mean, you don't know what you don't know. You think, I think especially with men, we think, all right, I'm 35. I done slept with 1,000 women. Let me settle. Those are not reasons to decide to get married. And as good as it sounds in your head, like, what am I going to do? Sleep with another 1,000 women? As good as it sounds in your head to say, all right, it's time for me to settle down. But are you there? Like you said, do you have the husband mindset?
Right.
And oftentimes,
right.
I think for most of us, we don't even know, especially if we haven't seen it. We don't even know what that mindset looks like until we're in the midst of it. And then we have to figure out, oh, I shouldn't be doing that anymore. And not cheating or anything, but just I shouldn't be doing A, B, C, and D anymore because I'm a husband now. I shouldn't be presenting this or that to, I don't know. It's a learning. If you haven't seen a successful marriage, it's definitely a learning curve. And sometimes people don't make it beyond the curve. The curve trips them up and it's over before you can even find your footing.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's aligning your desires with preparation. Aligning your desires with preparation. So, if there's something that you want, then it's important that you prepare for that, and especially in relationships.
No, agree. It's same with anything. I guess when you look at it that way, if you want to be a great basketball player, you're out practicing. You're trying to become that great player through practice and preparation. Yep. So yeah, you know what? I think I agree with that, Shea, 100%. I just don't think we as humans, we don't look at relationships in that way. I need to start carrying myself this way. We'll take, okay, maybe I need to stop clubbing and not be at the bar all drunk because that's not going to get me a husband. But it's way beyond that also. Yeah, it's your it's your mentality.
Absolutely.
That's more important than you probably not drinking out at the bar. Yeah. Because if you get that together, then the other thing stops automatically anyway, where you're not out carrying. And nothing wrong with having a drink. Hell, I like to drink. But my point is your mentality will change as you start to work on your actions will show. Yeah.
You know what? This might sound crazy to some people, but I really believe that more couples should do this, and that is have quarterly meetings. We do that in business as entrepreneurs, like our team with Rebirth, period. We'll do a meeting. We'll map out what the future is going to look like, right? We do this in our full-time jobs. Whether you're an employee, whether you're an entrepreneur, we have meetings. Why don't we do this in our relationships?
Wow.
Why don't we sit down quarterly to say, what are your goals? What are your goals? What trips are we taking this year? What is something that you didn't like about the first quarter of the year? What is something you would like to change? How did I show up for you in this relationship over the last 3 months?
Wow.
How did you show up for me? Why don't we have meetings in our relationships? We do this everywhere else, but we don't do it in our relationships where it's actually the most important.
We're poor communicators as a whole. That's why it don't happen. And to have a meeting of that magnitude every 4 months, what's a quarter? Every 4 months, whatever, means I'm gonna have to talk and probably express my true feelings. And I'm speaking from a male perspective. Mm-hmm. That's hard. And if you have to do that 3 times a year, that's a lot for a dude. Not making excuses, but for a man, 3 times a year, that's like 300 times a year. To have to bear, all right, this is what, to actually sit down with a woman and say, this is what I'm working on in my inner self. Mm-hmm. Most men don't even know what they should be doing to improve themselves. Mm-hmm. We think we know. We think what we hear other people saying that what we should be doing or what we should not be doing. But what do you think you should be doing? How do we even know how to tell our woman what we need? Do we know how to receive our woman giving us that information without having to blow our ego?
Right.
Last night, I'm watching Love and Marriage Huntsville.
Yeah.
You watched that?
Yeah. Well, you mean
last night's episode? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, last week. Sorry. Yeah, I started a rerun last night. So, this is hilarious. So they were doing the part 1 of the reunion, and they were talking about if the husbands had satisfied them. Right. And Melody Holt Rogers said that in her whole time with Martell Holt, she never had an orgasm. Mm-hmm. This dude could not believe.
He couldn't take that. He could not take it.
He could not believe that he was like, well, the bed is wet.
Yep.
You must have been. You know, he could not. Listen, when I tell you that men cannot handle. And so why didn't, and this is Melody's fault if you ask me, why didn't you tell him for y'all were together 12 years?
I think so.
Whatever.
Around that time, yeah.
Why didn't you ever tell him that you're not pleased sexually?
Yeah.
See, not just men don't know how to talk. Women don't know how to, some women don't know how to communicate either. It's just as bad on that end. And that's an out for men. If my woman don't know how to communicate, then I ain't got to talk about nothing.
Yeah. And all it's doing is harming the relationship.
Yep.
You know, it's harming. I mean, look what happened with their situation, right? And I think that happens in a lot of relationships. And there is a lot of women that do not have orgasms in their relationships, whether they're married or not married, right? But I also think too, this is like a whole nother show. But I think that a lot of women also have not explored their own selves to understand what
they like
causes them what causes them to have an orgasm. And so if I don't really know, how am I supposed to
tell you?
How are you going to figure it out?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I don't know, right? So, you know, it's that was a really good reunion. There was a lot of things that they said on that really could pick apart some things. So, what is it that you want that you're not prepared for? Right? So let's move that into our goals and you know, earlier we were talking about entrepreneurs, right? A lot of people say, I want to start my own business. Listen, let me tell you something. It's not easy. It's not easy. And the first couple of years, you're not going to make money like that. It's all an investment. And with being an entrepreneur, there's no clock where you can clock out. Right. You're always on. Because it's your business. And if you're not working hard for your business, how can you expect other people? Right? So being able to, when you're looking for, you know, rather it's entrepreneur, your career, some people want to go back to school and all of that, make sure that there's realism in your goal setting, okay? Because sometimes we be setting these goals and we're setting ourselves up to fail immediately on January 2nd. We immediately set ourselves up to fail because it wasn't realistic. The things that we spoke as to changing and wanting to do, when the new year came in, we realized January 2nd, like, I can't do all of that. And now we done gave up. Oh, I'm going to the gym 5 times a week. Why can't you just work on going there one time?
Right.
Just get there. Right? Because when you fail, now you miserable, you down, you depressed.
You're worse off than before you even began with the goal.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't know why. I think sometimes we feel like we waste a lot of time. And so now we're down 30 points and we want to take one shot and that's a 30-pointer. We want to get all the points back at this one time. And that's just not how things work.
Yeah.
I think we also have to give ourselves some grace. It's okay to be, it's awesome to be motivated and to want to have these goals and your vision board at the beginning of the year. But listen, life be lifing sometimes. And we have to give ourselves grace. So instead of falling into depression, instead of being upset that these things aren't manifesting themselves for you, give yourself a little grace. Things happen, man. Like you walk into a new year. It's people I already know have passed away. People came into this new year. If you saw them on social media or Facebook talking, they were ready to go. Now their mother has passed away.
Yeah.
Now their grandmother, their father died. All of that right there is on the back burner. And who knows when they'll be able to circle back to those goals. Because now you're dealing with grief.
Absolutely.
Life be life and give yourself some grace.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. You know, wanting something without adequate preparation can lead to frustration. And it does. It really does. So just make sure your goals are realistic. Not saying that you can't dream, right? We're not shattering anybody's dreams. But be very realistic about it. About what it is that you're dreaming about. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that you can't get it, but you might not can't get it in 2024.
Right.
It might take a couple of years.
This could be the preparation year.
It could be the preparation year.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes that. We wanted the year we say we want. And one thing I know about God, he never fumbles the bag. So he's not going to give you the bag he's not going to fumble the bag by giving you the bag to fumble. Because that's a waste. He know you're not ready.
Yeah.
So I also take that into consideration when things don't necessarily happen for me. Or sometimes I want things so bad and it doesn't happen. And I have to remember that sometimes God didn't let me have it because it wasn't going to be good for me. And I think, again, that's all in being able to find some good in every disappointment, some good in every negative situation.
Yeah.
And I try to make sure I do that, and I understand that this didn't happen for me. Even if I thought I put the work in for this to happen, it didn't happen. So no, it's not my time yet.
Right, absolutely.
And I'm okay with those things.
Yep.
Yeah. And we all have to be okay with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So another thing is building a solid foundation, right? For the things that we say that we want. Adequate preparation involves building a strong foundation, whether through skill development, creating a support network, or cultivating the right mindset. You have to have a strong foundation, right? I think about rebirth. Your team, your foundation. A lot goes into rebirth, a lot of behind the scenes. It's important that there's a strong foundation in order for this whole thing to move as a machine. And when there's a crack in the foundation, then guess what? It goes back to renewing, rebuilding, and restoring. Right? And there's going to be cracks in that foundation.
Right.
You're going to have that. But you have to really be able to figure out, can this crack be fixed?
Yeah.
Or do I need to pull out, move away, break away? That's another thing. Don't be afraid to walk away from things, okay? Because sometimes we give people too many opportunities to continue to fail. Don't stay in something longer than what you need to.
Right. You think we do that because it's, even though it might not be beneficial, it's comfortable.
I think it's comfortable, and it goes back to what we were talking about last week when we were saying about I can't love the potential in you. I can't love the greatness in you. If you don't see it for yourself, I can't continue to waste my time trying to love that into you.
Right.
So maybe it's time for me to move on, because obviously it's affecting me.
Yeah.
It's not affecting you. You good. You know, you walking around smiling and laughing. So maybe it's affecting me, right? And those are things that we got to think about. Maybe it's time for me to go.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you are the one that's affected in the relationship, at the job, or wherever the difficulty is,
yeah.
if you are affected daily and it bothers you to that degree, then you do have to pull away, no matter how comfortable it is, no matter how great the other people around you are, and all those things. I agree, and I think we have a hard time recognizing that at times. I've been guilty of that. Just hanging in there with a person that, like, this dude ain't right. Why do I F with him?
We still continue to do it, right?
And people like us too, we have that savers mentality because of what we do. So I think we automatically give people, and we're loyal. So I think we automatically give people chances that we probably shouldn't give them.
Yep.
And I know, me being a Scorpio, if I love you hard. But when I don't F with you no more, I don't F with you no more.
You don't. You're right.
Like,
about
that's it. I can cut you and not.
Yeah.
I had beef at work like a year ago, and the lady was like, "Did I do something to you?" I was like, because she was like, "You walk in here, you walk right by me, you don't say nothing, you used to laugh and joke around with me, and now I get nothing from you." I was like, I says, I don't have a problem with you anymore. I just don't fool with you.
Nice and polite.
Mr. Ed, what I do? Yeah, I don't. I ain't gonna listen. Once you wrong me, I can't rock with you. But go ahead, I cut you.
I know you good. That you are good. You are definitely good.
They be like, you like a woman in your conviction when you don't mess with nobody.
That's right.
When a woman's fed up, when Mr. Ed's fed up, that's it.
I know that's right. Ain't nothing you can do about it, for sure. So again, we're talking about wanting things that you're not prepared for. And I think one of the things that we have to make sure we do is be able to embrace change and adaptability. A lot of people, they struggle with change.
Yeah.
And guess what? Something just changed when I got quiet. That quick. Change is constant. It's constant. It is something that's constant. It is something that will always be happening. It is something that is happening right now in the moment. And when you are not open to change, you are not open to growth. Period.
Are there some things that you do? And I'm gonna give you a really silly example of something I do, and people be like, "Why do you do it?" Are there some things you do because it's just comfortable? It doesn't necessarily affect your life, but it's just what you've always done. Like, and you won't change. Is there anything that you won't deviate from?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Let me think. Is there? Oh, yeah. There's things that the things that I won't deviate from are things that once put me in bad situations. So the things that I won't deviate from is loving myself first, loving myself more than I loved anybody that walks into my life, right? That's something I'm not going to deviate from.
Did you always feel that way?
No.
Okay.
I felt that I would love, in my marriage, I loved my husband more than I loved myself. But then in doing that, I struggle with low self-esteem. And it's funny because when I say that to people, they're like, I've never known you to have low self-esteem or even think that one for you to know, but I know what I felt, right? I don't, just because you're not physically or showing it to everybody else
and
doesn't
you
mean
put it
that,
on Facebook.
Right. Hello, I didn't know. So, I would say the things that I healed from in my journey, and the healing journey is an ongoing journey. I just want to remind you guys of that, because sometimes we'll be like, I'm healed and I ain't, I'm not entertaining. And then we use the saying everybody is using, if it disturbs my peace. We go through all of that, but your healing journey it's constant. You're always going to be on a journey of healing, because that's what life is.
Yeah.
There's always going to be something in life that tries to throw you off your rocker. Something that you're going to have to say, ooh, that hurt, but let me get a different perspective of this, and let me get myself together and keep going. You're healing.
Yeah.
Right? So the things that I have currently healed from and continue to heal from, I won't deviate from that.
Right. Gotcha. Makes sense. And you shouldn't. Because you're compromising your growth if you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. What about yourself?
Very good. You know what? I guess things I won't deviate from is making sure that no matter how old they get, and I don't know, this is just me. I always say when I die, on my tombstone, I don't care what kind of boyfriend or husband people might say I was, but on my tombstone, I want to say, here lies a great father. So there's nothing I won't ever deviate and ever leave my kids hanging in any way, shape, or mentally, emotionally, monetarily. If I have it, they have it. You know what I'm saying? Spiritually pouring into them. These are things that I will never deviate from. And I know we never say never, but I just want to see them be great people. Like I want, in my mind, my kids are going to be my biggest accomplishment. Like if we go on to be on We or on a VH1 someday.
Yes, speak it into
my
existence.
greatest accomplishment will still be my children.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like
absolutely.
their
I
success.
agree with that. Yeah.
So yeah, I won't ever deviate, no matter if I get a divorce one day. If I don't know, nothing's gonna ever trump that for me. So yeah, that's important to me.
Yeah.
And you know what I won't deviate from?
What's that?
I don't know the answer to this one. So at my job in our main admin building downtown, right? So our parking garage is like a block away. So from day one, 9 years ago, I've been there almost 9 years. Next month. When I go into the parking garage, you go in, so there's 2 lanes going up to the first floor, and you push the button, get your ticket, the pole that's up on either side. From day one, February of 2015, when I started that job, I've been going to the pole, the one on the right side. I've never I don't know what it is. I cannot go to that left.
Right.
And it could be no cars in the left, and I'm the third car line on the right. I will
Wow,
wait.
really?
I don't know what it is.
Oh, Lord.
And I tell people that, be like, why you don't go over there? Ain't no car. I be like, oh, no, I can't go over there.
Oh, Lord. We gonna
Like, we've been
rebuke
sitting here in
that
line,
OCD
and it's a
demon.
whole... But I cannot. I go in on the right side every time.
Right.
It's the weirdest
That's
thing.
funny.
I don't even think about it. I just do it.
Yeah.
It's just without
and that's
thinking about
probably
it.
what it is. You just do it, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. That's one of my little weird things.
Okay.
Among the other 1 million.
Okay. That's hilarious. So wrapping up this conversation or this episode, I think that in everything that we said, it's important to make sure we have the ambition, but the ambition has to meet the realism of it, right? So be ambitious about what it is that you're doing, but let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. All right?
All right.
All right. Wow. So that was a good topic
Yes,
tonight.
I
And
enjoyed
hopefully
that.
people, hopefully you guys got some nuggets. Again, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow. Make sure you follow us at Rebirth You Podcast.
Right.
And Eli, you can give your...
Yes, follow me at the South. Got something to say. Reach out to me, man. Show love. I'm going to interact back. We got some live videos coming, man. I want to hear what you have to say about what I have to say.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And if you want to stay in the know, because again, Rebirth we have so many things coming up this year. We're going to be doing a Rebirth meetup. We got the Rebirth Live that's going to be coming. And if you want to be the first to get your tickets or an invite to these events, make sure you text the word Rebirth to 1-844-516-7189. It's time for you to renew, rebuild, and restore. Renew your perspective in your mind, embracing the power of your positive thinking. Rebuild your life by taking charge of your own happiness, crafting a journey that resonates with your true self. Restore your spirit and soul by connecting with the core of your being, nurturing the essence that makes you uniquely alive. Guys, in this trifecta of transformation, find your strength to shape a life that radiates with renewed purpose, rebuilt joy, and a restored sense of inner harmony. Thank you for tuning in to The Rebirth, and we will see you next week.
Peace.
Peace. Welcome to Rebirth Podcast. Follow us on all social media outlets at Rebirth U Podcast.